Hi, and welcome to How To with Kayla. Today I'm making Parmesan cheese. Yeah, it's everybody's favorite. Everybody like a good Parmesan, right? It takes a lot of patience because you're gonna need to age the cheese for at least a year. But and then when you open that cheese and you eat it, you see would be worth it every minute. So the technique of making a hard cheese like Parmesan is a little different than to make when you make a feta cheese or a farmer's cheese. So I'm gonna walk you step by step how you do it. I'm gonna show you everything, and by the end of the video I'm gonna post all the ingredients and everything that you need. So first I started with 2 gallons of milk. 1 gallon whole milk, 1 gallon 2%. And this is very important. Also, something that you have to remember, you cannot use ultra pasteurized milk because it doesn't have the bacteria that needs for all the cultures and everything to change the milk into the cheese. So remember, 1 gallon whole milk, 1 gallon 2%, pasteurized or raw, not ultra pasteurized. I have it here in a double boiler. And the reason that you need a double boiler, you have to raise the temperature of the milk to 92, 93 degrees very, very slowly. It's gonna take you about 45 minutes, so be patient. Keep on very low heat in a double boiler and wait until the milk gets to 92, 93 degrees. And then we are gonna add the culture that's gonna start working with the milk and changing the milk. So right now my milk is exactly 92 degrees, and I'm gonna add 1/4 of a teaspoon of thermophilic culture. Don't worry about the name. I know it's weird and everything. I'm gonna have everything ready for you by the end of the video. Let me show you how much is it. See, not much, right? This is 1/4 of a teaspoon. And what do? You sprinkle over the whole thing. Right? Now I'm gonna mix and make sure that the culture is mixed with the milk like that. And I'm gonna remove from the double boiler, put here on the stove, and I'm gonna wait 15-20 minutes, and then I'm gonna add 3 more ingredients. So I'm gonna see you back here in about 15 to 20 minutes. For some of you that are new to cooking or something like that, I'm gonna show you how I make the double boiler, all right? So this is a big pot that I have here that I fill halfway through with water. And then I put a little towel over just to make sure the pot that I have on top of it is gonna hold. All right, and that the reason we do that is that so you don't have direct heat towards the milk. You want everything to go very, very slow, heating the temperature just a little bit at a time. So that's my double boiler. After 15-20 minutes, you are ready now to add the other enzymes and the coagulant. So first, I'm gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of sharp lipase powder. That's gonna give a sharp taste to your Parmesan. And then I'm also adding 1/4 teaspoon of calcium chloride. That's gonna help with the flavor too. And I'm gonna add now an enzyme called rennet. It's a liquid rennet that's gonna work with the coagulation of the cheese. Just to give you an idea, if you're making cream cheese, you need just 1 drop of the rennet. For a hard cheese like a Romano or a Parmesan, you need 1 teaspoon. Oh, one thing that I forgot. You dilute everything on 3 tablespoons of water. So the lipas, 1/4 a teaspoon, you mix with 3 tablespoons of water. Same thing for the calcium chloride. And now I'm gonna add the rennet. That's gonna make the cheese harder. I'm gonna make sure that I mix everything very well. And I'm gonna put the lid back in the pot, and we are gonna wait 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, we are gonna get what is called a clean break in the cheese, and we can start cutting the curds. So I'll see you again now in 45 minutes. It's been 45 minutes. So now we're gonna be cutting the curds. To make sure that your milk is ready, you have to test it. We're gonna do a clean cut. There are 2 ways you can do it. So come close here. I have a knife, a clean knife. I'm gonna make a cut. And the knife comes clean. The other way that you can do is using your finger, you cut it all the way through. See? So it's ready. It's more than ready. Now we're going to start separating the liquids from the solids. There are several ways that you can cut the curds. For the Parmesan, Sasha, for the Parmesan, you need very small cuts. So I think an easy way to do is using this. Everybody has one at their house, right? It's gonna work very well. There are several different equipments that you can buy and use it, but you know what? I don't really like spending money unless I really have to. This works pretty good. That's how you do it. All the way down, turn a little bit. All the way, turn a little bit. And you're gonna do it around the whole pot, at least 2 times, to make sure that all the curds are cut. See how easy it is? And you can see already the liquid, the whey separating from the curds, from the solids. So you know by now that you are doing everything right. After you cut, you're gonna just let the curds rest for about 10 minutes. And then we'll go for another phase of making your cheese. So I'm just gonna go through the whole cheese here, cutting everything, and I'm gonna cover and wait about 5 to 10 minutes. And I'll see you again. So after 10 minutes, that's what is gonna happen. It works like magic. See, all the way on the top. So we're gonna start now cooking the curds. I put the pot back on the double boiler, and I'm gonna turn on into a very low temperature, and I'm gonna increase the heat until the cheese gets to 105 degrees. I cannot really stress enough the need for you to have a good thermometer. The cheese, in order for the cheese to be done right, it has to be cooked at the right temperature. So you need a thermometer that you can trust, that's gonna give you the right temperature, the right heat right now. So I'm gonna cook this very, very slow until it gets to 105 degrees. It's gonna take about 20 minutes for you to get there, okay? And that's the only thing I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be stirring the whole time because you don't want the curds to be clumped out together. Okay? I'll see you very soon. Honey, it took me about 35 minutes to get the temperature up to 105. As you can see now, there is a lot more whey and the curds are getting smaller. That's exactly what you want. So after your cheese gets to 105 degrees, you're going to raise the temperature of your stove to a medium high, and you are going to keep cooking and stirring until the temperature gets to 125. The only difference is that from 105 to 125, you want to cook a little faster. So it's 20 degrees and I'm going to try to cook this in about 15 minutes. So when the temperature gets to 125, I'm going to remove the pot from the double boiler. I'm going to let it rest for about 10 minutes. And then we are going to drain. We are going to separate the whey from the curds. In 15 minutes, I cook the curds from 105 to 125 degrees. And then I let it rest for 10 minutes. What I did now to make it easy, I took some of the whey out because I'm going to use to make ricotta cheese. You can use the whey in so many ways. You can make polenta, bread, ricotta. You can cook pasta with it. But that's for another video. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move the curds to a colander that I have here, that I put some cheesecloth on it, around it, and I have a pot here because I'm going to save the whey. So I'm going to start draining now. See how beautiful? Now I'm just going to pour everything here. And this is going to give you a cheese of a little over 2 pounds. So let us now squeeze a little bit. I'm going to take this out of the whey. See how much whey did we get? This is going to be a beautiful ricotta, so I'm going to save it for later. This is the mold that we're going to use to mold your cheese. So that's how you do it. You put the cheesecloth around it, squeeze a little bit, put the cheesecloth over. This is called the follower. You put on top of it. I use a can to help with the weight. And I have 5 pounds of weight here that I'm going to press for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we are going to remove the weights and we are going to flip the cheese. Open. Looks good. Now we are going to put the follower here, and I'm going to flip over. Take the cheesecloth out. And we are going to move the cheesecloth again into the mold. Like that. And very carefully put the cheese there. And you're going to repeat the process. Put this over the can. Now, instead of 5 pounds, we're going to increase to 10 pounds. So get this 10-pound weight here. This is 7.5. And I'm going to add 2.5, 10 pounds. And we are going to wait 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you're going to do the same thing. Flip the cheese, and now you're going to add 15 pounds for 2 hours. Same thing, flip again, 20 pounds of weight for 12 hours. So I'll repeat again. The first time was 5 pounds just for 15 minutes. Now we're doing 10 pounds for half an hour. After half an hour, flip the cheese. We're going to do 15 pounds for 2 hours. Flip the cheese, 20 pounds for 12 hours. So tomorrow morning, I'll see you again. And welcome back. After 12 hours under 20-pound weight, we're going to remove the cheese from the mold. Right there. And as you can see, it really became hard. See? Like that. If you remember, we didn't use any salt for the cheese. We didn't add any salt in the milk. And the Parmesan is a very salty cheese, right? So the secret is that you are going to brine the cheese for 2 days. And the brine you make, that's how the brine looks like. See? It's 1 gallon of water, 1 pound of salt, 1 teaspoon of calcium chloride. You make the day before because you have to boil the water so all the salt will dissolve. And then the next day, when it's really cold, you can put the cheese. You're going to submerge the cheese for 2 days. It's going to float because of the salt. So every 6 hours or so, you just flip the cheese around. After 2 days, you are going to age the cheese. The Parmesan is a cheese that needs to be aged for at least 1 year. So you have to be very, very patient. The way that you age your cheese is you have to keep it at 55-degree temperature. The way I do it, I have a very small wine cooler that I got in Craigslist for like $40, and I use this just for my cheeses. So I just put the cheeses there in the wine cooler, and it's going to be there for 1 year. In the beginning, in the first 3 weeks, it's like a baby. You have to really take good care of it. So every day you have to flip the cheese. After 3 weeks, you can do it once a week. And then after 2 months, that's how it's going to look like. This is my cheese that is being aging. See how hard it is? That's perfect. Now, after 2.5 months, I'm going to vacuum pack. So no bacteria, nothing is going to get into the cheese. And I'm going to keep in the cooler at 55 degrees for a year. And then we'll be able to open and eat the cheese. You know, you may be thinking, wow, that's a lot of work. Yes, it is. But you know what? It's worth it. You're making your own Parmesan at your house. Can you believe it? If you tell your friends, they are not going to even believe it. But it's possible. And it's easy. And I think it's a lot of fun. So I hope you have fun making your Parmesan. I have other videos on YouTube how to make feta cheese, cream cheese, soy milk, orange liqueur, a lot of fun stuff. So check and let me know what you think. I hope to see you again, and thanks for watching.